Nicomachean Ethics, in Modern Updated English, by Aristotle, translated by Old Book New. Publisher's Introduction. Thank you for picking up a copy of Nicomachean Ethics by Aristotle. We have updated this work into modern English so you can understand exactly what Aristotle wrote over 2,000 years ago. We encourage you to refer to the original writing as you listen to this updated work. If you enjoy this book, please share with a friend and see more updated works at oldbooknew.com. Book 1, Chapter 1. Every skill and every field of knowledge that can be taught, as well as every action and moral decision, is wealth. In any actions, skills, or sciences that fall under a specific category, like how making bridles and all things related to horse equipment fall under horsemanship, and horsemanship, along with everything related to war, falls under the military art, and so on for other categories. The goals of the main skills are more important than the goals of the skills under them. This is because the smaller skills are pursued to achieve the goals of the main skills. In this comparison, it doesn't matter whether the actions themselves are the goals, or if there's something more beyond them, like in the arts and sciences we just talked about, is wealth. In any actions, skills, or sciences that fall under a specific category, like how making bridles and all things related to horse equipment fall under horsemanship, and horsemanship, along with everything related to war, falls under the military art, and so on for other categories. The goals of the main skills are more important than the goals of the skills under them. This is because the smaller skills are pursued to achieve the goals of the main skills. In this comparison, it doesn't matter whether the actions themselves are the goals, or if there's something more beyond them, like in the arts and sciences we just talked about. Since there is one ultimate goal we aim for in everything we do, which we want for its own sake, and we desire everything else to help us reach this goal. And since we don't always choose things with another goal in mind, because if we did, we'd never stop and our desires would never be satisfied, this ultimate goal must be the chief good, meaning the best thing of all. Surely, when it comes to real life and behavior, knowing about this is very important. Like archers aiming at a target, we are more likely to do the right thing if we know what we're aiming for. So we should try to explain, at least in a basic way, what this is and which sciences or skills it is the goal of. One would naturally think that the ultimate goal is the most important and all-encompassing one. This is what politics clearly represents because it decides which sciences should be part of communities, what individuals should learn, and how skilled they should become. We also see that important skills like military strategy, managing a household, and public speaking fall under politics. Since politics uses all other practical sciences and sets rules for what people should do and avoid, its ultimate goal must include the goals of all the others, making it the ultimate good for humans. Even if this ultimate good is the same for both individuals and communities, the good of the community is obviously greater and more complete to discover and maintain. Achieving this for just one person would be satisfying, but doing it for an entire nation or communities in general would be more noble and godlike. These are the topics our discussion will cover, which are related to politics. I believe I will have explained them well if they are made as clear as the topic allows. We shouldn't expect the same level of precision in every discussion, just like we don't expect it in every craft. The ideas of nobility and justice, which politics deals with, can vary and be misunderstood to the point that some people think they only exist because we agree they do, not because they are naturally real. Similarly, things we consider good can also be misunderstood because they can sometimes cause harm. For example, some people have been ruined by wealth and others by bravery. We should be satisfied then, when talking about these topics and using the information we have, to explain the truth in a rough and basic way. In other words, since we are discussing general topics and using general information, our conclusions will also be general. People should understand what we say in this way. An educated person will look for accuracy in each subject as much as the topic allows. It's clearly just as silly to accept a mathematician who tries to convince without proving, as it is to expect strict logical proof from a speaker or writer who uses persuasion. Each person judges well what they know, and they are a good judge of those things. So for each specific subject, the person who has been taught about it is a good judge. In a broader sense, someone with general knowledge and education is a good judge overall. Therefore, a young person is not the best student for studying moral philosophy because they lack experience in life's actions, which is what this subject is all about. Also, since young people often follow their emotions, they might listen but not really understand or benefit from it, because the goal is to apply what they learn, not just to know it. I don't make a difference between being young in age and being young in attitude and behavior. The issue I'm talking about isn't directly because of age, but because of living impulsively and chasing after every new thing that comes up. For people like this, the knowledge becomes useless, just like it does for those who can't control themselves well. However, for those who shape their desires and actions based on reason, having knowledge about these things can be very beneficial. Let's start with a brief introduction about three things: the student, the attitude we should have when reading these observations, and the goal we aim to achieve. Chapter 2. Now, going back to what we started with, since all knowledge and choices aim for some kind of good, what is the good that politics aims for? Or put another way, what is the highest good that we can achieve through our actions? When it comes to the word itself, most people agree. They call it happiness. Both regular people and the more thoughtful ones think that living well and doing well mean the same as being happy. But when it comes to what happiness actually is, people disagree. And regular folks don't always see it the same way as wise people do. Some say it's something obvious and easy to see, like pleasure, wealth, or honor. Different people think it's different things, and sometimes the same person changes their mind. For example, when someone is sick, they might say happiness is health. When they're poor, they might say it's wealth. People often admire those who speak in fancy ways they don't fully understand. Others believe happiness is something separate from these things, something that makes all these good things good in the first place. Going through all the opinions might be a bit pointless, so we'll just focus on the ones that are most common or seem to make some sense. We shouldn't forget the difference between reasoning from principles and reasoning to principles. Plato also wondered about this and questioned whether the correct path is from principles or towards principles, similar to running on a race course from the starting line to the finish line, or the other way around. Of course, we need to start with what we already know, but there are two types of knowing: what we actually know and what we can potentially know. So as individuals, we should start with what we actually know. This is why it's important for someone to have good habits if they want to study and understand the